Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon and welcome to RiX Forum 1 entitled Supercharge or Stagnate, a dialogue on the next big leap for the timber and furniture industries. I'm Alexis, the MC for this session. Thank you for making time on this wonderful afternoon to be with us. Now, what can we expect from this dialogue? Now, this dialogue will analyze critically on the current state of the industry and determine the quantum of initiative for its sustainability and way forward via 4 focus areas. First, education. Second, talent acquisition and retention. Third, culture. Fourth, government policies and support. We're extremely honored to have some professional speakers with us today to share with us their thoughts and opinions. So we have George, Peter, Kian, Honey, and of course, last but not least, our main moderator, Dr. Professor Ian Davis. Now, first, let me introduce our keyman, Dr. Professor Ian Davis. He's the Managing Director of Radius Consulting Sindhurst, a change management and multidisciplinary design and architectural consultancy. He has extensive experience for the furniture industry in UK, Europe, Malaysia as a manufacturer, a furniture designer, an educator, a mentor, management consultant, and a senior advisor to the Malaysian government. And now, without further ado, may I invite Prof for a quick keynote address? Prof, please.
I can experiment to see if it works on the scale. Hold on. Right, 3 minutes hasn't started yet. Salam. Good afternoon. How are you all? I can't hear you. How are you all? I still can't hear you. One more time. How are you all? Okay, cool. Okay. So, my name is Ian Davis, etc., etc. What I'm going to try to do is to share with you in the next 3 minutes, all right, some of the things I've done in my life and how possibly there are lessons to be learned of what we can do here in Malaysia to really move the furniture industry, the design industry, and the timber industry forward. The honest truth is that, in fact, over the past few years, we've been standing still, and other countries have flown by us. So let me start. So basically, our theme for this afternoon is supercharge or stagnate. And this will only work if all of you share your ideas and thoughts in the next hour. So we believe that, in fact, there are 4 areas that we should be discussing this afternoon. Education, finding and keeping talent, our culture, and what can government do to help us. So, genuinely, if you're going to change a nation, you start with education. But if you're going to change an industry, you start with education. Now, I taught at the Royal College of Art furniture design for 10 years. At the same time, I was running Herman Miller, the American office furniture company, with people in 10 countries reporting to me. And it honestly changed my life. So some of the things just to share with you very briefly, it was very much based on the way that Bauhaus operated. So they believe passionately that furniture design is all about understanding making things. It was essential that every student, every postgraduate student, physically made the prototypes, physically made the pieces. One of the problems we have here in Malaysia is that many times, if you're actually looking at prototypes, the student has no idea how physically to make it. The other thing that I learned here is you challenge what the lecturers tell you. When I was a lecturer, I was an external, and I was their external examiner and tutor. Let me give you an example. I was evaluating a Japanese designer, the sketches for a glass table. And because of my background in Herman Miller, I said, no, this won't work. The whole of the class, all 17 postgraduate students said, no, sir, you're wrong. Let him go ahead and do it. We prototyped it. It was absolutely fantastic. Here, no one would dare challenge the lecturer in terms of it's right or wrong. Some of my work for the government, I was the government advisor for design and innovation. We looked at Singapore. This is what happened in Singapore. 2005, Singapore is looking at the economic future of the country. And they recognized the importance of healthcare, of education, and the creative industries. A group of young designers and academics got to the Prime Minister and said, sir, our education system is broken. This is in a country where it was one of the top 5 in the world. Here in Malaysia, no one is attempting to say that in fact our education system needs fixing, but it desperately needs fixing. It's all about talent. It's finding and keeping talent. Too often, our very best people go overseas, thank you, go overseas, get jobs overseas and don't come back here. We need to change that. So what are we going to do to actually get more people actually coming into the career of design and furniture? We need to get more customers actually physically coming here. One of the problems is, if you go to MIP, it's the same as last year, the year before. There's no sense that in fact we actually need to change. So these are some of the initiatives I've been involved with. One of them was Tango, where we basically showed the best of Malaysian young designers in Milan. This is setting it up. 20,000 people came to the booth. Let me say that again. 20,000 people visited the Malaysian booth. Next thing, I was asked to actually write a plan for the future of design and the furniture industry. We did the work, we submitted it to Cabinet, nothing happened. All right, I'll explain why another time, okay? But seriously, we need a plan for the future of this industry. Otherwise, it'll be the same as it is today. Nothing will change. So, my basic statement to close is this. Let's stop talking about it, let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Just do it. That's the way it is. Now, first speaker, let's introduce him. Peter Mickelson, someone who holds furniture very dear to his heart. He's the founder of Poet Syndrome Berhad and the director of Kion Group of Companies. His journey through furniture industry begins amidst the embrace of a family business in Denmark. For over 4 decades, his dedication and expertise have touched every aspect, from retail to wholesale, manufacturing to transforming projects in hotels, offices, and homes. And Peter, floor is yours.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. I am originally from Denmark, and I have lived in Malaysia now for 30 odd years. And when I was 18 years old, I swore I would never work in the furniture industry, but here I'm still here 45 years in the trade, so I guess I will die in this business too. Kian and I found each other many years ago, and it has been a wonderful journey for me as an expat, maybe living here, where we are in a company that is quite progressive. And we work from a simple philosophy of better design, better value, and better world. And with this, we mean design. It all starts from a design thinking process. You have to build your brand, you have to build your furniture that you want to sell. And we struggled very much in finding local talent to help us. So this is my first alarm bell. Not enough local talent to help us. So we engaged with international designers. We have 7 or 8 international designers working with us. Enrique, you see here, is our main designer. And Cindy, giving him a hug here, is our local designer that has started to work with us now. And we're starting to see her products coming out. Benji is up there, and she's also an internal team that we are growing now to help us design more items for the future. Design starts with the sustainability in mind, minimize the usage of materials. Whatever we go through, this is the key. So all our design teams are aligned and we move forward with these simple philosophies. Better value is not about price. We want to give better value to our clients. So in order to do this, we have actually started the sustainability journey very, very seriously. And again, I say this is a very lonely drive, but together we can actually improve all this. We work with coffee grounds, we work with HPLs, with jeans material, we are working with ocean-bound plastic. We have launched these chairs are made from plastic that is collected around the beaches in Malaysia. So we convert them into pellets and turn them into beautiful chairs, 100% ocean-bound plastic. We are working with recycled woods. So we have so many materials that we are starting to work with in our journey. But nothing works without people. Oh, sorry. And it all starts here. And our journey is quite serious. We have a team that go around to all the universities. We evaluate, we help to judge the furniture from the candidates. We come out, we help them, we do talks about designs, and we help to get them interns into our companies, and we have more and more interns that are staying with us after they have graduated. So we are seeing progressively improvements here. Again, if the whole industry join up together, we can make this a wonderful journey. We're using scrap wood from our factory in the corner picture there, where we make tables and sell and donate to our foreign workers funds. So we do a lot of things. We have made our commitment as a company, as a group of companies, no matter where we are in the world, 50% carbon reduction by 2030 and embracing zero net by 2050. So this is our commitment to the future. And just one little thing we do, okay? And I'll finish if I can get the last slide. Meat production takes about 14.5% of all the carbon emissions in the world. So this is, we have started this Meatless Mondays, and this is something we can all do where we start to reduce the meat intake. The last slide. Yeah. So we are doing this, promoting this internally. It's not forced. Everybody has to volunteer to it. And again, this is just one of our small initiatives that we are doing to make the world a better place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. Very interesting. Up next, Kayin Lin. Very talented young lady, co-founder and principal of a Moxie Associates in Ramahat. Kayin fostered her passion for interior design from a young age. Her love for her profession also sprouts from the simple satisfaction of seeing her clients appreciate her work that provides her with the motivation to improve and help owners realize the space that they have always dreamed of. And so now, Kayin, the floor is yours.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Kayin. I practice interior design, co-founded in Moxie Associates. So if you can see, I am a very visual person. My inspiration comes from transferring my creativity to visual stunning realities. So as you can see, the first video, this is actually one of my completed project in a local shopping mall. So I love it. And then the picture on the right is actually my office. I love it too. Yep. So as you can see, through my years of experience as a designer, right? So recently, not recently, 2 years ago, So this is actually the slide that I shared during a program called Timber. So this is actually an incubation project to actually match manufacturer and designer. So I actually shared exactly the same slide for the second version and the third version. So I can assure you today, I am still that girl with very strong interest in the terms of fun and play and design. So I really want to explore into the portal of play in my practices. Yeah. So, sorry, too fast. Go back. Okay, so this project, this is actually a preschool. So I completed this project about 5 years back then. The reason why I love this and I'm still sharing up to today is because it's not actually made with very luxury, expensive material. The reason why this is very heartwarming and very meaningful to me is because we stay true to the brief, the client's brief. So one day, the client engaged me and he said, I want a space, a learning space that is less commercialized. I don't want mascot, I don't want cute bears or cute cats to represent the school. I just want students to feel like they are learning in a village. So this is also a project where we explore into a lot of timber furniture. So we work with local timber manufacturer and then we produce all these little cute pieces in the store, in the school. So and then even this project also teachers contributed. They also contributed all the cloth, all the decors around the school. So it's very heartwarming and meaningful to me. Yeah. And then this is actually my first product with timber. So I actually named this after my own name. It's called KN Cord. It's actually also a little applause to myself. So this was actually done 2 years ago under timber program. So the reason, this is actually a very huge exposure to me. It is also the first prototype that I've ever made. So the reason that I come out with this KN Cord, it's also a point of sustainability. I want to give second life, even third life, or even the fourth life to a cord. So we always imagine you have a newborn baby. What will happen to your baby cord after your baby outgrown it? So in this case, I actually have this idea with the manufacturer to turn it to become a side table, a bed, or even a day bed. So the second one, so this is actually the second one. So I would like to continue my journey to design another baby cot. So this is also a piece that the first intention, right? I wanted people to see the first piece as not a baby cot. It should look like something else. And then the inspiration comes from capsule, a toy capsule. You crack the egg and then you find surprises inside. So this is actually also exhibited. I am very thankful to be given this opportunity to explore into furniture making. So it's actually very challenging. A lot of details, a lot of consideration to make this. So in short, I feel like this program is actually very important to the industry. I hope that a lot of designers can actually participate and then we have more programs like this. So local manufacturers and also designers can work together to create more and more pieces in the future. So thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you, Kian. Up next, George Young, passionate and visionary gentleman. As an entrepreneur, he is the managing director of Wingming Group of Companies. The group is the leading manufacturer and distributor of doors and cable reels. And recently, they have also embarked in the business of converting oil palm trunks waste to an innovative door core material. George is currently the chairman for Timber Design Incubator Program. And George, floor is yours.
Thank you, Alexis. This is about myself. I'm a door manufacturer. My company name is called Wingming Industry. So I make door. I have OEM product to other people and also have my own brand. And my own brand is called Sandor. So Sandor is a brand that reach out to Malaysia market and also to overseas market. So this is my factory. So all the time, the door that I produce, some is from the customer design, some is from my own design. So to speak, it's a mixture of OEM and ODM. And as for my responsibility beside the manufacturer, these are my responsibility towards the timber industry. So I'm currently the chairman for Malaysia Wood Molding and Joinery Council, a board trustee for Malaysia Timber Council, and also the president for Malaysia Timber Association. So with the topics today, I'm very passionate to share with all of you about timber. I'd like to meet more designers to promote timber so that the timber can be a sustainable raw material and also a sustainable economy for Malaysia. I have think of other than door design, total solution, selling log, going upstream, going downstream, what else I can do? So I'm motivated by the information reached out to me about the circular economy. So I also feel that being a manufacturer, particularly in timber industry, we have more commitment, more responsibility towards this carbon net zero. So with that, we have declared in our group to be like here, carbon net zero by 2050. And in order to achieve that, there is a material that we need to find. How can we reach out to this objective? So we have come out with the idea to find alternative raw materials. So as mentioned by Alexis just now, we already converting the oil palm trunk. Oil palm trunk traditionally 25 years is going to cut and dispose. Some people may burn it. So we want to convert it into a raw material to make doors. So this is a circularity model that we have, some of the selling point. So from the picture here, you can very easily see, even though the door for this circular series, in order for me to promote more, I want to create some attraction. So means I have this buyback program. So means whoever developer, contractor or designer support my program, the door at the end of the day reach out to all the end user, and if they want to dispose, I will buy back at 100 ringgit. So with that, I can continue to do my circularity with this. And you can see the life of number 5 after I remanufacture the door actually is stronger than the first life. So with that, I can able to achieve the carbon neutral very soon. So with this one door, there is a carbon sink of 0.3 ton, which is very significant. Commercially, 1 ton is equivalent to $60 as of the market in US now. Some designers have collaborated with us to convert some of the door from a traditional like this design to a ventilation. So this is one of the example in the timber, which Kian just now has mentioned. So I'm also the participant and also the chairman for this program. So I'm very happy to see the creativity of a designer, how they can turn my factory to create some of the design. So I'll end with my few questions here. Timber product environment friendly or not? There's a big dispute. Some people say timber is no good, deforestation. Some people say timber is good because it's renewable, carbon storage. I want to create this question, instead of we avoid it, we have to face it and we have to discuss it. The second thing here is designer, carpenter and installer. We don't have enough in Malaysia, even though we create a lot of good product, but come to the delivery, we have not enough. So I like to create awareness and challenge to all the education, academia, and also the institution to really look into this one. And of course, in order to achieve that, we need some support from government. The third one here is, we see a lot of high-rise building built in timber in overseas, Denmark, Europe, even though Singapore, but why not Malaysia? Because I asked the architect friend, is our cost have any calculation about the timber? Is our designer cost have anything related to timber design? If that is not, it will not happen because the CF must come to the calculation. And the insurance will based on CF. And the buyer will based on insurance. If this will not happen, this is still a dream. So with that, I would like to end my sharing here. Thank you.
Very interesting, George. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Hani Ali, a remarkable lady here, graduated from Australia and received her training at the Gem Factory Contemporary Craft and Design, one of the most prestigious design centers in Adelaide. Her study backgrounds were interior architecture, furniture design and making, and industrial design. Her works are mainly influenced by joineries she learned, and later adapted vastly in her creations. She then started Lion Furniture in 2012, and she actually received an award in 2018, Furniture Design Icon Award by Thanggam and TIV. Honey, now the floor is yours.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. I will not stand there because I think I will be taking a lot of our time. We're supposed to sit down and talk about design and how we're going to move forward, right? So I'm just going to go through the slides. Alexis has done very well in introducing myself. So you can check me out on my Instagram, Lighting Furniture. Everything is all online now. You can even Google about me. I'm sorry, I cannot. I do not want to steal other people's time, our time. Yes. Just look through all the decade worth of my work, including some of the stuff that I made in Australia. Our probably biggest and my proudest project is Chloe Hotel, Kapas Height condominium, and we do a lot of private acquisition work. So this is up to today. That's my milestone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honey. And now for the real thing, the dialogue is about to start, and I'll pass the floor to our moderator, Professor Ian, please.
Okay, now we've got questions from the floor. So before we start, does anyone have any particular topics that they want us to cover? We're going to put it up on the board. So are there any particular issues that haven't been covered so far that you want us to explore further? Sustainability, okay. Right, so let's just put it down as bullet points. Okay, so sustainability. Anything else? So there are no other questions that you think. This is very much Malaysia, all right? This is one of our problems. All right, I'll give you one, okay? I was doing one of these in Kuching, all right? And we're going through it and talking about design, blah, 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 and all the rest of it. And then they said, you have to talk about foreign workers. What are you going to do about foreign workers? All right? So, as furniture manufacturers and designers, are foreign workers an issue for Malaysia? All right? I think it is. All right? And we should actually talk about that a little bit. Okay? Is there anything else? Okay? So?
Since you keep saying that Malaysians don't raise questions, for me, my humble opinion is designer is, first of all, we are not able to retain talent because most of the talent will move to Singapore, which paying higher. And the other one is costing. A lot of times designer will come up with very fantastic design, but when going to the payer, so they will always opt for more economical options. So I think this is also, but I believe good design can be cheap. Thank you.
Okay, I've got some advice for all of you, all right? Malaysia is never going to be the cheapest. Sad to say, all right? You've got two choices. We've fallen down the league table of sales and leadership, all right? In the timber industry, the furniture industry. And one of the reasons is that we're not investing enough in talent. We're not helping designers actually have a role to play in our industry. If you look at the success of other countries, they're not, okay, if you look at, let's say, Italy, it's not the cheapest, is it? But it's using design to differentiate itself. What we're trying to do is compete with lower cost countries. Yes, we can do that if you've got the volume, if you've got the efficiency. But we need to recognize the fact that we need to take design seriously compared with where we are at the moment. And that's including our interior designers and supporting interior designers and architects and furniture designers. Okay, has anyone else got any other questions? Any thoughts?
Our national identity. And a lot of things see, like Indonesia has a Indonesia, Singapore, they have a very firm on the design direction and whatnot. But Malaysia, it's very hard to say what is our national identity when it comes to design.
Does anyone agree with that? Does anyone want to challenge that? Can anyone explain what is our national identity?
It is actually, but I love it. I love the rojakness in us.
Okay, so our identity is Rojak. All right?
That is what we are. We are rojak.
That's our charm. Okay? The problem is Rojak going to give us leadership? Seriously.
Yeah, it is.
I've lived here 30 years. I've been doing this stuff for a long, long time. All right? And one of the challenges is we all say yes, 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 and then nothing happens. All right? And the trouble is, all of us sit here and say, well, it's the government's problem. It's not the government's problem. It's each one of us. We've got to take action. If we don't recognize the fact that if each one of us doesn't work together to change our country, we will fall further and further down the ladder. We really will. We'll be comfortable, but we'll suddenly wonder, why is it that everyone else has gone past us? Do you agree or disagree? No, I said, yeah. Inshallah, we need to recognize, all right? So, we should be in a situation where we all agree 2-3 years from now, we all meet here again, okay? And we see what have you personally done to change things. I'm serious. You know, these guys are changing things. All right? And we should support and help them. But please, for the sake of our country, don't just sit back and wait for someone else to do it. Figure out for yourself what you're going to do. Part of it starts off with a government level having a clear plan of where this industry, whether it's the design industry, whether it's the furniture industry, the timber industry, where it's going and how it's going to get there. Now, Alex and I were in Sarawak. I was the keynote speaker at the Design Week there. And all credit to the Prime Minister there, Abang Joe. He had a very clear vision of where Sarawak needs to go. We need something similar here. We really do. Okay, any other questions?
Thomas, we've got questions.
All right, so, okay.
Well, I think we had a really good warm-up conversation, private conversation just now. Peter and George was mentioning, they mentioned talent. We don't have enough talent. Our interns know nothing when they are on board with us. I take interns every year. I can point out which university is the best when it comes to furniture making, and they can take on board your instructions. So my Lion Furniture, we make our own furniture. So whatever you see just now is all made by us in our little workshop. So even we had MRM came last year, this year, and they were shocked to see the setup of our workshop, to be able to produce furniture pieces and all the things that Chloe Hotel ordered from us. So it's not about you can't because you don't have enough, but you can because you are capable. You just gotta know how to organize your production processes. Peter, you mentioned something just now in regards to education. Is it education? That people are we keep getting graduates, but they're not good enough. They're not.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, yeah, he didn't say that, but not his word,
No,
mine.
I think there's tons of talent out there, but they're not being used in the right manner, and they're not getting the last part of the education, which is the practical side of it. Everybody can work on theory. They come out from school, they're brilliant in using the softwares and whatnot, but they don't know what wood can be used, and they don't know how to construct things from a practical point of view. So that's my main concern, that the education system here skips too fast and passes people through as graduates without really having the knowledge of knowing how to build and construct something. So I think the education system here needs a shake-up, both in terms of, I know most of it is private institutions that's only interested in passing the student through so they get high marks and they look good in the industry. But we need, as furniture people or product people, we need to go in and work with these universities and tell them what we need from them and help them educate this group of people. So we all have to open up in terms of getting this industry moving again. Because else, I agree with Ian, it's you go to MIF or you go to EFE or even that, there's two organizations that can't even figure out how to do it at the same time of the year. I mean, it starts there. Let's get it down to one show, international visitors come in, they can start to see beautiful new designs coming out of Malaysia. So there's a long way to go, but let's just start by EFE and MIF. Let's combine these two damn things and promote to the world. So that's one of my opinions.
Okay. I'm going to share something highly confidential and not to tell anyone else about it.
From your mic. Highly confidential.
Okay, I did share it with the team when we were discussing this before. So I'm an external examiner at many universities here because as you can see, I've got white skin, I'm a foreigner, and in certain instances they have to have at least one foreigner actually as part of the keeping the standards up. So one of our major universities, this was a course in industrial design, furniture design, blah, blah, blah. And we looked at the work, and the other examiner was from Chicago. And we were looking at it, and out of the 43 students, 4 of them were going to fail. The problem was that when we were first briefed, we were told everyone had already passed. And the 4 that were going to fail was because they hadn't done certain modules. We couldn't evaluate them. So the professor from Chicago said, I want to see the head of department. So we meet the head of the department and he said, okay, just put your report in, we'll consider it. And he lost his temper and said, no, that's completely unacceptable. I want to see all the lecturers, all the people in your department tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Otherwise, we will not sign off on our assessment. So 9 o'clock the following morning, we basically said, this is our problem. Your pass mark is 50. You're telling us that everyone is more than 50. We have 4 students, 2 of them are like 25, and 2 of them are 42, 43. We have to fail them. What do you want us to do? Remember, internally, they've actually passed everyone already. So the head of the department says, on behalf of all the academic staff, can't you push up their marks so they pass? Right, do you hear that? Can't you push up their marks? And we said we cannot, because the A minuses will now become A++. They're not that good. So they said, okay, you write a report, we will consider it. Okay? So we wrote the report, failing the 4. Now the following day, it just happened completely by accident. I had a meeting with the Minister of Higher Education, so I told him what happened. I didn't tell him which university it was, but I told him what happened. He got very upset and said, this is unacceptable. Later that week, I had a meeting with Tan Sri Nazin, who was the Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Education. I told him, and I got a real scolding, saying there is no future for Malaysia if the mindset of all the people in universities is that everyone passes. This country has no future if I don't think that you can't have some people that fail. You can't maintain the standards. Now, a few years ago, I was doing a project for EPU through MPC, reporting through to the Prime Minister, Tun Dr. Martin, because he wanted to know why it was that we were employing so many foreign architects and foreign designers in Malaysia. So we got together and ran a series of workshops with employers, with academics. With the employers, their biggest problem with the graduates that they were seeing was their communication skills, particularly English, were just not good enough. They weren't international standard. When we do the same exercise with the academics the following week, all they cared about were their KPIs. And they cared about their KPIs because their bonuses were based on their KPIs. They did not care and think about the quality of what they were teaching. So if you go back to what we were saying at the very start, if you're going to change a country, if you're going to change an industry, you start with education. And if you're not prepared to actually make big changes and recognize nothing is going to change in Malaysia. As I said, down in Singapore, if you go to my slides, they recognized the fact that if Singapore was going to respond to the way the world was going to be, they basically had to change their education system, even though it's on the top in the world. And they formed the University of Science and Technology, specifically to focus on the importance of design, and design in relationship to technology. Nothing like that has happened here. And there's nothing on the horizon that's going to happen here. So every one of you, again, has to recognize the fact that we can only change things if we take individual action ourselves. All right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
You're going to do something about it.
Yeah.
Good, okay. Any more questions? Okay.
Probably to you and as a industry and manufacturer, are you ever going to think about TVET? It seems that I think we have enough schools or universities to come out with the designers. But the second issue that was raised is about workers. So TVET education is recognizing, because not every students, like from 5, they are like inclined to papers. They're probably much more inclined to mechanics of things, but they don't like study. So what is your directions in promoting TVET in your factories? Yeah, thank you.
I like this question. I'm actually putting a lot of effort into this. I'm a door manufacturer. I do contracts. I ask the installer to install the door. The installer charge 150 ringgit per door. And what sort of quality are they delivering? The foreign worker basically are delivered lower and lower quality. The door, we produce higher quality, higher design, but the installation is just not up to the standard. And again, how come 150 ringgit we pay and we cannot get the quality installation? Because they are using the old way of installation. The workers are getting not stronger like last time. So we need to teach them, people in Japan, people in Europe, what are the method statement, what are the best practice, what are the tools they are using. And we have to bring all these things into the TVET. Instead of TVET using the old way of teaching, because old way of teaching is a manual, low quality or high labor cost. And we have a friend here. These two are my friends. I asked them also, I survey, how much do you pay for your flooring installation? They say 150 to 200 ringgit a day for flooring installation. And these few workers, few years later, foreign workers, they are going to go back. And again, we start from zero again. So over the period of time, 10 years, 20 years later, I don't think Malaysia quality of, not to mention only timber product, overall construction installation is going to be very low. So TVET is something that we would like to put it in. With all the industry players, together with the government education, we have one idea. We say, why not industry player come out with a letter statement, survey the best tools, providing the training to the student, and get them acknowledged by providing them a certificate. And this certificate, we're going to get PAM, MIID to endorse, JKR to endorse, CIDB to endorse, all people to endorse. So once a lot of people endorse means it's something that's valuable. And when it's valuable, the student or the technician, they can charge maybe from 150 to 200 with good quality. So with that, just now mentioned about the sustainability, because as long as the skill is good, the delivery is good, the worker or the technician can get a good income, economically it's sustainable. Talent is sustainable. Quality of TVET is getting better and better. So that is my take. Thank you.
Very similar. I'm from Denmark, and in Denmark we have a totally different education system when it comes to all this. And I still think it's one, I sound a bit biased, maybe I am, but it is one of the best education systems in the world. Because you cannot call yourself a carpenter, you cannot call yourself an auto mechanic, you cannot be an electrician, you cannot, without having the right education and a certificate that tells you that you are now this talented person. And I believe that Malaysia should have a similar kind of attitude towards education, or any country in the world. I mean, you can call yourself, I can go out and be a mechanic tomorrow here in Malaysia. I don't know, if I look down to an Indian, I don't know what bolt is what bolt, but I can call myself a mechanic tomorrow if that's what I want. And that's not healthy, because you don't gain the proper knowledge and pride. Even more importantly, you don't get the pride in your job. So I very much would encourage if you get more of this type of schooling, and you get an apprenticeship in a company, and you work there for 2 years. You start by sweeping the floor, then you move up and you move up and you move up. And then suddenly you are a cabinet maker, or you are a carpenter on a site, or whatever dream you have. And I believe there's a lot of room in Malaysia to build these dreams for the younger who don't like to study, who don't like to read. So I'll be all for this. We'll be forefronting here, and if there's a system that can take apprenticeship in, we'll go all the way out. On the foreign worker, I think Malaysia is in a peculiar situation where we all say as factories, nobody wants to come and work. I need to bring in the foreign workers. So, which is probably partly true. And then we have the foreign workers here, and they are good people. We have from Bangladesh, we have from Indonesia, we have from everywhere. There's no such thing as a bad worker. There's only bad bosses. No, it's true, because if you don't train them to do quality, they do what you expect, cheap furniture or whatever it is you want out of it. I have made some of the most exclusive furniture in Malaysia through rejection. Go to the carpenter and say, nah, don't like it, throw it out, start over again. And I tell you, when you do that 10 times, they will start to make nicer and nicer stuff. And it happens every time. So it is very doable. But I think Malaysia ruling right now is about the foreign workers should change a bit, because when you have been here, I don't know, it's 13 years, then you cannot renew, you have to go home and all this. And this is where I find it a little bit stupid, because this is where they have become a talent. This is where they're becoming valuable. And we are all paying them more than anybody else. So we should be able to retain this seafood level of people while we educate the Malaysians to come in via a proper education system that George and I can support in manufacturing. I would love to.
Thank you very much. I think we have 5 minutes, maybe one last question.
Sure. I would actually like to chip in from a different perspective. Professor, Peter, and you guys are talking about quality education. So there's this question that I want to raise. Before you get quality, where is the quantity? So to me, I feel like our schools, furniture design schools, has very low enrollment. So for example, like 2 to 3 years ago, me and Hani, we went to India, right, for graduation showcase. So there are like 60 to 80 of graduates in interior design, but there's only less than 10 of furniture design graduates. So what can we do with that? So because we talk about quality of education, how about quantity? How do we attract young people to be more interested to design furniture? Should we actually, really go to secondary school or even lower, like primary school, educate them, tell them what is so good about secondary school? Yes, because these days, I feel so old. I feel like young people these days, they are not quite attracted to design furniture because they feel like it could be quite boring in a way. They want to design, like computers, games. It's more trendy in a way.
Because they have RBT class.
Right.
RBT
Yes, they have robotic class. Yes.
RBT is not robotic.
Okay.
It's about innovation and then
Right.
robotic. You should start. You should start with primary school.
Yeah. So that's a question that I want to raise. How about quantity? Where can we get quality students and people to be interested to be in this field?
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Primary.
I have a good rude answer to the designers here. I think it starts, no, because I work with a lot of beautiful people, a lot of interior designers, but quite a lot of them are also what I call Pinterest designers or Google designers. So half the things, can you quote this, Peter? Can you quote this, Peter? Something they have found a picture on the internet and say, quote me this, quote me this, quote me this. So we have to start from the top. So when Ian spec furniture, Peter quote this, it's not something that is copied from someone else. We have to have that pride that we want to do proper furniture. Richard is sitting there, he has a lot of original furniture. I mean, we could do wonderful things, but it has to start with all of us taking part in it.
Again, about the young talent, how to attract more, we can use commercial. Now I would like to do some promotion. Behind this wall, there is our Malaysia Timber Council Timber Design Incubation Program. This is version 3.0. And it is a motivation program to encourage designer, even a student, to work with manufacturer. And contractually, if the sales is successful, we are sharing 3% for 5 years on the sales. So with that, with the economic motivation, we are basically asking all the students at all age, not to say student, all designer at all age to come to play this game, and let the bar go higher and higher. let disqualified lower and lower people. So the survivors survive. And the student, I think the young student now, they like this kind of motivation. And also, I think with the kind of commercial motivation, all people please join. Even start from the secondary school. Even the people who are not ITR, not AR, but they have passion in design, come. Yeah, please come to our program. So I would like to do some promotion with this.
I'll also just do a quick promotion because what we do, we work with designers from all over the world and we do pay them royalties of every single piece we sell. There must be a respect for the designers because this is their only revenue income. So if a company will not pay the royalties, don't work with them. We have to find serious partners to work with. And there we are definitely one of the more serious players. We will pay royalties. Thank you.
Okay, my job's to try to wrap it up and put it all together. I just want to make one quick point about royalties. I've been managing director of 2 American office furniture companies. And I know for a fact that in the States, we were paying 2 of our designers $10 million US a year in royalties, all right? One of our competitors was paying $50 million to designers. So don't think you can't have a good income if it's good work, All right, so trying to actually pull all of this together is going to be a bit of a challenge. And we've only got a couple of minutes and it's photo time. But honestly, I think the main takeaway from today is that really we need to look forward of how we can work together, how we can actually invest in the future of Malaysia. And that starts off with the people. That starts off with the people as far as education is concerned. It's actually finding and recruiting the best talent. It's giving them the opportunity to do great work. And then it's actually supporting them to actually move forward together, that in fact we actually make sure that in fact we recognize that for our country we need to work together to actually to ensure that in fact we actually deliver success. Otherwise we will be falling further and further behind. So I got 2 questions before we do the photo session. Number 1, did you learn anything in the past hour?
Yes.
Have you enjoyed yourselves?
Yes.
Very good, I'm happy anyway. Objective to check. All right, so we're going to do a quick photo call. Can I ask everyone, all right? Sorry, sir.
Thank you again. Surprise. Anyway, just to share some of the information for the furniture industry. I'm from the furniture industries. As what Slim was saying, what is the quantity? I think a lot of people do not know that Malaysia export a lot of furniture in terms of dollar value is 12 billion. Just imagine 12 billion. Just take 30% out of it to do designing of 3%. So you just imagine how much potential there is for the design community. I think it's very important that this particular session is mainly for the design community that know that there is a great potential if you were to venture into furniture designing. And I would say that our furniture industry are actually very eager to look for good designers in Malaysia. And I believe that we do have, as what Peter was saying, we have a lot of talent in Malaysia. We do. We don't need to be actually like Italy, design R&D. And all the while we are always R&C. You know what is R&C, right? Research and copy. What Peter said. But I think we should go on R&M or R&I. That means modified or new innovation. This is what actually you can see that among the ASEAN region, Philippines is one of the top design in terms of furniture design. What they do, they actually do a lot of design from R&M. You can see the lines are equivalent to the design from Europe, but the material they innovate using rattan, okay, with the design of B&B. You can see it's B&B design, but when you look at it, it's not fully upholstered because it's using rattan to come up with the line. So I think we need to promote more to let the design community know that furniture design is a great potential for Malaysia. And because in terms of dollar value wise, we have a $12 billion industries and it's growing. And we're actually targeting to reach 25 billion soon. But we need to add design value, not just by manufacturing, because manufacturing itself will not increase the value that we want to achieve. But with the design, every design you add in 5%, I'm sure that our client are willing to pay for it. Like our company, we produce furniture, we just add some design, not available in the market, we can call for additional price for it. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you very much. I know happy times actually flies, and now time is of the essence. We'll need to sort of speed this up. Now we have prepared some token of appreciation to our speakers and moderators. Now may I invite upon Puan Norahan Abdul Rahman, Chief Executive Officer of the Malaysian Timber Council, to the front, as well as Interior Designer Noshafina Ibrahim, Vice President of MIID, to the front to present a token of appreciation to our moderators and speakers. First of all, Puan Norahan, please present to Mr. George Yap. Okay, first, thank you very much. To Peter and Puan Raihan to Miss Honey. Interior Shafina to KN. And finally, Puan Raihan to our moderator, Dato Professor Ian Davis. And can we have everyone on stage for a group photo? Photographers, please help to.
Tolak sini lagi.
Is it center enough?
Hampir lah.
Peter to the front a bit, yes.
Smile.
Say kimchi. Risa.